Hi. I was reading in Matthew recently, and I came across this passage in Matthew chapter 16, verses 13 to 17. This is what it reads. Now when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" And they said, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others say Jeremiah or one of the prophets." And he said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" And Simon Peter replied, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered him, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven." This passage is rather well known as the Confession of Peter. It happened when Jesus and the disciples were up in Caesarea Philippi, and Jesus started the conversation with his disciples by asking them a question. He turned to them and said, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" He's asking them to tell him what the common people are saying about him. They've been traveling from village to village and town to town. There have been times where thousands of people have been following them, and the disciples were in a good situation to be able to hear what the people were saying, what they thought. And Jesus, even in his question, actually gives the answer. Who do people say that the Son of Man is? And the Son of Man, of course, is a very common Old Testament term for the Messiah. And so he gives a hint. He kind of tips off the answer, even in his question. Some of the disciples could have said, "Well, you're the Son of Man," but instead they come back and they have answers for Jesus. They've been listening to the people, hearing what they've been saying. And I can imagine one of them saying, "Well, Jesus, I've heard quite a few people saying that they think that you're John the Baptist who's come back from the dead." Well, John had been the first of the great prophets since Malachi. He was the one who broke the 400-year silence between Malachi and Matthew in the intertestamental period. People had become very attached to John. They believed his message. They listened to his message. They responded to him. And they believed that he was a mighty prophet from God. Some people thought that God had resurrected John, brought John back to life, and now he was going around and doing mighty signs and wonders and miracles throughout the land. And then maybe another of the disciples spoke up and he said, "Well, Jesus, there are a lot of people who think that you're Elijah." And we go, why would people think that he was Elijah? Well, because of the prophets. Again, God had promised Malachi that he would send Elijah in preparation for the great day of the Lord. We read in Malachi chapter 4, verses 5 and 6, "Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the great and awesome day of the Lord comes. And he will turn the hearts of fathers to their children, and the hearts of children to their fathers, lest I come and strike the land with the decree of utter destruction." And then perhaps another of the disciples jumped in and said, "Well, some people think that you're Jeremiah or one of the other prophets." Jeremiah? Why would they think Jeremiah? There was a legend recorded in the book of the Maccabees, a legend that says that Jeremiah had the tent of the tabernacle and the Ark of the Covenant and the altar of incense, and that he hid them all in a cave to protect them, and that he was going to come back and restore these things to the people of Israel. Had he come? Was this Jeremiah? But Jesus doesn't really pay any attention or respond to their answers. He quickly turns to them with his own question for them. "But who do you say that I am?" And the you in that sentence is in the plural. Jesus is saying, "But what do you guys say? What do you say about who I am?" And Peter answers for the whole group. He says, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." Good answer, Peter. Perfect answer. He answers absolutely astutely and wisely. He says, "You are the Messiah. You are the anointed one of God. You are the Son of God himself." And this shows us that at some level, the disciples had come to understand that Jesus really truly was the Messiah and that he was the Son of God, that in some way he was divine, special Son of God. I'm not sure that they understood it completely at this point, but this was the good confession. And Jesus continues speaking to Peter, and he says, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven." Jesus pronounces a blessing on Peter. He says, "Peter, you're blessed." And he doesn't say, "Peter, you're blessed because you've made this correct confession." He says, "Peter, you're blessed because my Father in heaven has revealed this truth to you." You're blessed to know this fact. The fact that you are aware of who I am is a sure sign that God has blessed you and has revealed this to you. You haven't figured this out on your own. You haven't discovered this on your own. No human being has taught you this. Rather, my Father in heaven revealed this to you. Therefore, you are blessed because God has been willing to reveal the truth to you. He's given you this knowledge and this faith. And so the thought that came to me was this, that everyone who makes this profession, everyone who believes as Peter did, is blessed by God. Because those of us who profess that Jesus is the Christ, he is the Messiah, he is the Son of God, we profess this because we believe it, and we believe it because God has revealed this truth to us. He's the one that has given us the faith to believe who Jesus is. And so the blessing that God gave to Peter, the blessing that Jesus pronounced on Peter, "Peter, you are blessed," that same blessing is pronounced on us. We can hear Jesus saying, "You are blessed because my Father in heaven has revealed this truth to you." Can you hear Jesus asking you this question? Who do you say that I am? This is the very most important question that we could ever be asked, and the answer to it is the most important answer that we could ever give to any question, because it shows where our faith is. It shows what our foundation is. It shows what we're depending on. Are we depending on ourselves? Are we depending on our own goodness, our own holiness? Or are we depending on the fact that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of the living God? If we believe that, it's because God has shown us this truth, and we are, of all people, most blessed. Thank you again for listening. God bless you. Have a great day.